Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today's our traditional public safety press conference heading into the 4th of July weekend. But this year we have certainly a unique health and safety concerns in the form of COVID-19. So I'm going to start with the COVID-19 updates about what people need to know, and then I'll outline the presentation on public safety community and the well-being. And then we have leaders here that will speak. Commissioner Willie Gross will give an update on the Boston Police Department and their plans. We have Fire Commissioner Jack Dempsey will talk also about the fire department. And I'm not sure if Chief Hooley's speaking, but I know Chief Hooley's here, so we'll have Chief Hooley come up and say a couple words as well. No mean to put him on the spot, but I'm going to bring him up. And I also we're joined by many other people of the administration that are here today. We have Emergency Management Chief Tremaine Benford, who is a guy behind the scenes who's done an awful lot of work with COVID-19 and also the responses of a lot of the working with the police department and a lot of the protests that have been going on in our city. Chief of Health and Human Services Marty Martinez is here, as always, to answer any questions around COVID-19 or any other public health questions we might have. We have Director Rufus Falk of our Office of Public Safety. I'm going to explain about Rufus's role in a couple of minutes here and what he's doing and the work he's doing in the city. We have Director Talia Wright Rivera, of our SWORD team and our street outreach and advocacy and response programs. And I'll get into their roles in a couple of minutes. I want to start with the latest COVID-19 cases in Massachusetts as of yesterday. The total cases are 100,009 cases, a one-day increase of 261. So the total is 109,143 in Massachusetts. The state has now confirmed 8,081 deaths in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts due to COVID-19. That's up 28 from the previous day. The Boston numbers yesterday, total cases which have been recorded in the city of Boston, 13,467 cases, an increase of 12 from the previous day. 9,459 people have fully recovered. That's an increase of 39 from the previous day. And 700 people have passed away, which is down by 1 due to some of the working on the data and rearranging some data numbers. As I said after every press conference when I give these numbers, I always continue to say our prayers continue to be with the families who lost loved ones and families struggling with illness as well. I urge everyone just to think about the reality of these losses. Think about the success that we have had bringing these numbers down here in Boston and in Massachusetts. And think about our ability to prevent further death and suffering by the actions that we take this weekend and moving forward. Every day, including this weekend, I'm asking people that you should wear a face covering outside your home. You should maintain 6 feet of space from other people. You should not be in any kind of crowds or gatherings where physical distancing or social distancing is compromised. And we're asking people, please, if you're over 65 years of age or medically vulnerable, stay within your immediate households. Do not go out to gatherings of any kind. This is all about your safety and the people around you safety. I want to remind everyone that the state and the city advisories on face coverings, physical distancing, and large gatherings remains in place. They remain in place for a very good reason. They are proven by many scientific studies to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. We are seeing in other parts of the country what's happening when people ignore the science. We're seeing the numbers surge every single night, watching it on TV or reading about it in newspapers. We are learning about scientific cases where social gatherings spread the virus and got people very sick. At a birthday party in Texas, 18 family members got infected. 2 are now hospitalized and 1 is on life support. And with the cases, they believe that 1 family member may have been exposed at work and brought the virus home. Our prayers go out to that family in Texas. At a bar in Michigan, opened 9 days in early June, Health officials have traced 138 infections. Now Michigan has to close its bars again. We also learned about a hair salon that opened in Missouri, and 2 stylists turned out to have COVID-19. They each saw collectively, not each, together they saw 140 clients. But every single person was wearing a mask, spacing was good, and there was no transmission of this virus. Physical space and social distancing absolutely works. Face coverings and masks absolutely work. Washing hands and cleaning surfaces often absolutely works. The evidence has grown and the science is real. So I just want to repeat, there should be no large cookouts or house parties this weekend. We've come too far here in Massachusetts and Boston to take those kinds of risks and put our community and others in jeopardy. And whatever you're doing this weekend, whether you're riding on the MBTA, whether you're at a beach or in a park, whether you're shopping or going out for food, or you're in a backyard with a small group, you can and you must take these steps to protect yourself, your families, and your communities. We are certainly working across city government with our residents and partners to keep our community safe from harm of all kinds. So I want to just stress that as we continue to go into the 4th of July weekend. One of those areas that we're working to keep our residents safe is with violence. The public safety leaders behind me represent a multiple disciplinary team in a comprehensive proactive safety strategy. Their work is at the heart of our racial justice conversation and our mission of lifting people up, not locking people up. Commissioner Gross and his team have resumed and expanded our youth outreach events in recent weeks. Arrests again this year are down by 30%. The Commissioner will be telling you more about that and other things that he wants to talk about. Rufus Falk, who I mentioned earlier in the Office of Public Safety, has been meeting weekly with community partners to work directly with at-risk youth and young people in our neighborhoods and our cities. Some of the organizations that he's been meeting with are the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, My Brother's Keeper Boston, Roca Boston, the Violence Intervention Teams at the Boston Medical Center and Brigham Women's Hospital, and many other organizations I couldn't name today. I want to thank you all for partnering with Rufus and our Office of Public Safety. We have been building relationships with young people and adults who are not connected to organizations, even during these very difficult times during the coronavirus pandemic. Talia Rivera and the street workers on the SOAR team have launched an outreach plan to engage the highest risk young people in our city. They will be out late at hotspots where gang activity and retaliation is an issue, engaging and mentoring our young people and sharing PPE and hand sanitizers. I want to thank Talia and her amazing team for the work that they're doing here in the city of Boston. Our youth employment team is hiring 1,500 young people to start jobs next week, on our way to a goal of 5,000 jobs. With our partners, over 8,000 summer jobs will be given out this summer. Boston Center for Youth and Families is working to engage 1,500 young people in creative summer space programming. And in the Boston Public Health Commission, our trauma teams, mental health specialists, and our Office of Recovery Services have been fully operational during the pandemic, and they're out every day supporting vulnerable members of our community. This is truly a system designed for engagement and support and harm prevention. And it will be a stronger system when the budget investments that began yesterday in this new fiscal season are implemented. I also want to take a moment to address the issues of illegal fireworks. This continues to be a major safety and quality of life concern in all of our neighborhoods in the city of Boston. We're hearing from community members that fireworks are triggering wide range of trauma. They're causing real harm to our veterans who fought for this country, to survivors of violence who are trying to overcome loss, to seniors and families with young children, to many of our pets. It's causing trauma all across the city. I want to thank those in our communities that are mobilizing for solutions. We've been holding outdoor community meetings to share information and create inclusive responses. I want to thank all of our state and local elected officials and civic associations who have been involved and have ongoing with these conversations. We've created a task force to act on the recommendations and keep this work going. It includes our Chief of Civic Engagement, Jerome Smith, and our Office of Neighborhood Services. It includes all 4 citywide at-large city councilors. It includes Commissioner Dempsey and his arson team, the Police Department, Bureau of Community Engagement, and many other community leaders. What this task force is going to do is they're going to focus on the outreach and communication about the harms of illegal fireworks in our community. Fireworks are dangerous in our community, and I'll have Commissioner Dempsey who's going to talk in a few minutes about some of the concerns that he has. This 4th of July weekend, we do expect a lot of activity. I want to be clear, the fireworks are illegal in Massachusetts without a special permit. Fireworks are illegal in Massachusetts. They are not legal. If you cross the border to buy them in New Hampshire and you cross state line, you're bringing an illegal product into Massachusetts. I want people to know if you hear fireworks in your neighborhoods, you can and you should call 911. If you have information about anybody buying illegal fireworks or selling illegal fireworks, you can contact the Crime Stopper tip line anonymously at 1-800-494-TIPS. That's 1-800-494-TIPS. Or by texting the word TIPS, by texting the word crime as well. So you can text the numbers 27463 and text the word TIPS, and you can get the information in that way. The Boston Police Department has confiscated large amounts of fireworks. Many of the police departments in the Commonwealth have confiscated large amounts of fireworks. But most importantly, I'm asking people to get involved or who are involved in this activity. Think about the people that you're impacting and you're affecting. Think about what it means to be part of a community. Think about the consequences of your actions. Safety is ultimately a matter of community well-being. It's about children growing up in an environment and a neighborhood that meets their needs and supports their dreams. So I have some updates on resources for children and families. Starting this Monday, July 6th, we'll be offering youth meals at 97 locations across the city of Boston. The Boston Public Schools will continue delivering meals to the door-to-door students with disabilities. This is the Summer Eats program we launched in 2017 for young people in summer programming. This year we're extending it to all residents aged 18 and under. Building on our work during the school closures, we got over 2 million meals out across the city of Boston from the beginning of March. The Boston Resiliency Fund is a big part of the work. This week and last week we provided $2 million in grants to 15 organizations, including a range of food access providers. They include Mass Farmers Market, that will provide weekly coupons to people in need, regardless of your immigration status, to spend at farmers markets all across the city of Boston. Additional grants supports domestic violence shelters, housing programs, addiction recovery programs, and some other programs that we have. The Resiliency Fund has raised right now a total of $32.4 million. We've dispersed a total of $22.5 million into communities where the needs are the greatest. Much of the innovative policy work we're doing in recent years to address the needs that the pandemic has shined a bright light on. Child care is a good example. We need large-scale solutions for our child care in our country, but we are doing groundbreaking work here in the city of Boston to support early educators who provide critical services to families. I'm announcing that Child Care Entrepreneur Fund has begun its second round of applications. We're going to provide cash grants to business workshops to 25 child care providers this summer and another 25 in this fall. Applications are available until July 22nd if you go to www.boston.gov/childcarefunds. For children starting in school, Our Boston Saves program just completed the first year of universal access for free savings account for 5-year-old children. And we're eager to sign up the next group of families. If you have a child entering kindergarten in September, you are eligible for a $50 account and ongoing support to build those savings for your child's education. We're asking you to visit www.bostonsavescsa.org to learn more. If you go on the city website, all this information is on there. Arts and culture is essential to healthy communities, and arts has been hit hard by this pandemic. Already, our Boston Artist Relief Fund, working with the Boston Center for the Arts, has provided grants to 515 individual artists. Today, I'm announcing that we created another $1 million fund for organizations that have been impacted, called the Arts and Culture COVID-19 Fund. Many of our arts organizations have had to cancel programs, and many will not be able to come back fully until 2021, until next year. We want to provide them with the supports they need to be able to reopen successfully when it's safe to reopen. This is available to Boston-based organizations with budgets less than $5 million. Applications begin on Tuesday at boston.gov/arts. Finally, on a fun note, we've adapted our annual outdoor movie series to this summer's reality. Next Wednesday, our drive-in movie series begins. We're going to have classic films and family favorites playing in outdoor lots at the Convention Center in South Boston and the Wentworth Institute in Mission Hill. This was a partnership between the Parks Department, Tourism, Sports, Entertainment, Age Strong, and the Highland Street Foundation. Reservations are going quickly. If you'd like to find out about the free drive-ins, go to boston.gov/drive-in movies. These are the movies that we usually have in our parks throughout the summer, where we bring in popcorn and we have a lot of things for kids to do, and we've set up people bring their lounge chairs, but because of physical social distancing, we're doing it a little differently this year. I just want to close by a word about the 4th of July. We are now 244 years into our American journey. Independence Day is a time to reflect on our history and our ideals. This year we entered July 4th weekend already in conversation about fundamental issues. We're talking about the rights of people to be free. Free to speak, free to worship, free to thrive, unburdened by hunger, fear, racism, or oppression. And we're talking about our ability to act together as a community against a common threat to all of those freedoms. This is not going to be easy conversations. It's a time of stress for many people and also a time for grief. But I am convinced this conversation and these experiences are making us safer and better. We will keep each other healthy and move closer to full equality, as long as we respond by not turning on each other, but by turning to each other, and by recognizing the rights of every human being to safety, dignity, and freedom. That belief informs all the work that we do, and if we fight together for that idea, we will move forward as a stronger city and a stronger country. Now I'm going to ask Commissioner Gross to come up and say a few words, followed by Commissioner Dempsey. I offered Chief Hooley as well, if Chief Hooley would come up, and then I'll come back and take any questions that you might have.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July, celebrating our nation's independence. Let's try to keep it that way, a happy 4th of July. You know, over the last month and a half, all the increased calls for illegal fireworks going off, just a tremendous amount. I would say that, just like I say with firearm violence, if you see something, say something about illegal fireworks, because folks, it is working. We received several calls, and one I'd like to mention was a call that we received from the neighbors in Mattapan, resulting in the arrest of individuals with 2 firearms and a large cache of fireworks, and your calls have been working. Again, there's a tremendous amount of fireworks out there, And we'd like to remind you, as parents, as neighbors, as loved ones, please take a look in your own homes. These aren't adults lighting all the fireworks off. Several are small children and teenagers, so we'd like to ask for your partnership there too. Not only are they a fire hazard in the homes, especially multi-dwelling homes, but to life and limb as well. I can tell you in my career, I've responded to several calls, especially with children that have lost digits and have been seriously injured as a result of fireworks. So, that being said, this is a partnership, like the mayor said, and we are asking for your help to make this 4th of July as safe as possible. And on that note, the Boston Police Department will have increased coverage in the neighborhoods so that we can answer all calls to service. And per usual, we're asking if you see something, say something, because again, that works too. We have 400 guns off the street, and that's not a pat off the back or on the back from PPD. It's all of us together. So despite of what people think about stop snitching, our neighborhoods are helping out. 400 guns off the streets, several arrests. So let's continue to do that, especially during this long weekend. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Commissioner Dempsey, the Boston Fire Department. I'll happily answer any questions afterwards. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Gross. So if you've heard it once, you heard it 1,000 times, and you're going to hear it 1,000 more times. The sale, purchase, possession, and use of fireworks in the state of Massachusetts is illegal. If caught selling fireworks, you can end up going to jail. Possession of fireworks is not an arrestable offense. But if you start a fire or you injure somebody, you're going to get arrested and we'll prosecute you to the fullest. Fireworks can be very destructive. Last July, during the day, we had a three-decker with a porch fire. Cause, illegal fireworks. Later that night, 1:30 in the morning, 4-alarm fire, 2 three-deckers destroyed. 20 people lost their homes that night. Cause, illegal fireworks. So you can see we got a problem here. Just last month, 2-alarm fire. Cause, illegal fireworks. So there's also, besides the property damage, there's also the human toll. And you heard the mayor mention all the veterans, elderly, pets. On top of that, people have lost their eyesight. They've had lost fingers, had hands blown off, and there's been many serious burns. Just last week, we had a serious incident where a person was struck by a firework, and they're still in the hospital to this day. So it's very serious, and we need adults to step up and lead by example. Fireworks are illegal, and they will be prosecuted. They'll be confiscated. We'll do the best we can to get them off the street. Please leave it to the professional, licensed people to do the fireworks. You cannot operate fireworks unless you have a permit in the city of Boston, and those are only issued to licensed professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. Just real quick, happy 4th, just echoing what everybody else is saying up here. Happy Independence Day to all of us. We at Boston EMS, we used to always look forward to this weekend because you had the 3rd show, the 4th show, the rehearsal show. It was great family events, but it was also a busy time in all the neighborhoods of Boston. For the last several years, we always put extra ambulances on, but truth be told, we put more ambulances on to cover the rest of the city's neighborhoods than we actually would park down at the Esplanade. We had a lot of foot teams and medical tents down there, but we kept a lot of our ambulances in the neighborhoods, and that'd be no different this year. We'll keep up our coverage there, as we're still dealing with routine 911 calls and with the ever-present risk of COVID-19. Just a few other things is obviously we're in the summer months, and right now we're not expecting particularly hot weather this weekend, thank goodness. But with a lot of the elders staying inside, staying at home this time of year, particularly because of the social distancing, we want to make sure that as we do hit the hot weather that will be still coming up in July and August, to make sure we're still checking in on our friends and family who are older, who are staying in, who may have some needs, to make sure that they're getting what they need, proper hydration. Do they need somebody to run to pick up prescriptions for them? Do they need somebody to help them with any sort of errands, putting a fan up? So be a good neighbor and a good family member for that, just to keep that in mind. And just lastly, given this opportunity, I do want to reiterate one thing that the mayor started off with. Even though the numbers are trending better, and thank God they're trending better in Boston, Boston's been, I think, ahead of the country as far as taking precautions on preparing us for COVID-19. However, it is still out there. We're still encountering patients. And as the mayor said, we really have to keep our focus, keep our guards up. It's something we remind our personnel for every single day. And so with that, I want to thank the men and women of Boston EMS who have been working tirelessly, extra shifts since this started back in January, and particularly on behalf of the people from my department, we want to thank the mayor too for his leadership. He's really been the forefront. He's the leading public health director, whether he realizes it or not. Back in January, he was already cutting down the size of meetings in here, well ahead of public pronouncements for that. And he told us back in that last week of January, if we're not prepared to sustain this effort through July and into August, then we're not prepared. We took that lesson to heart, and so there's no reason not to keep listening to the warnings and the advice that's coming out from City Hall here. So stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. And before I open up the question, I just want to just take a moment to thank the Boston Police Department, Boston Fire Department, Boston EMS, our violence interrupters, our street workers, our trauma teams. All of those folks are going to be working this weekend to make sure that we keep Boston safe and keep the residents of the city safe while we all hopefully can enjoy ourselves a bit. I know this has been a long 4 months. I was saying earlier in a meeting today I had that COVID-19 coronavirus, about 4 months ago today, we started to really think about shutting things down. It was in early March. And the work that's been done from then till now and what's happened not only here in Boston, in the country, and the world is really remarkable. So I hope everyone has a chance just to take a few minutes or take some time this weekend just to relax and think about, we're going to get through this. And we're going to come out the other end a stronger city, a stronger country, and hopefully we can do it together. So with that, I'm going to open up for questions.
Phase 3 of the governor does go to say that seems to be the transition point where we see the spikes in other parts of the country. Do you think there's any concern for Boston when you stay in line with the state? I know you've done help out with
The question is what I think about Phase 3 and reopening, if Boston's going to be online with the state. We got a briefing. I'm looking forward to the governor's announcements today, and after that, we'll give a feedback on it. I know that the state and the governor put a lot of thought into this. We've been talking. When I say we, the city and other cities and towns have been talking to them as well. I think Phase 3, it's part 1 of Phase 3 or step 1. I'm not sure how they break it down. So there's many steps in Phase 3. So it's not going to be a complete reopening of everything. So I look forward to seeing what the governor has to say today, and I'll respond later. The question is, do I think we see more fireworks out this year? Is it potentially a response to the Esplanade and not having their own show? No, I think it's greed from companies coming into Massachusetts and preying on them. I think it's companies taking advantage of people. Whether they're being sold out of the back of a van or people going across the border. Those companies that sell the fireworks are being completely irresponsible. and taking advantage, quite honestly, taking advantage of people, in my opinion. And young people, listen, we all grew up and we all, I remember being a kid and there was fireworks in the neighborhoods back then, not to the magnitude of what it was today, but I think it's these companies based off of greed, quite honestly, and taking advantage of the situation. Is a great example. I mean, C11 is right there, and I know that I've talked to the captain. I can let the commissioner come up as well in a second and talk about it. They're on top of it. The problem is, the problem, quite honestly, is when I tell people to call 911, I know a lot of people might have rolled your eyes saying, well, what's the point? The point is there's so many calls going out there. And I really do think that as we see these, if you see something beyond, you see a van pull up or a car pull up with large amounts of fireworks, if you can get that information to us, that's going to be key. Because the way we're going to stop the fireworks, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to stop it one person at a time lighting them off. Because some of these aren't kids lighting them off; these are adults lighting them off, and they need to take some responsibility. But we really got to get to the root of it. We got to get the source of all these fireworks coming in. It's more than people driving New Hampshire and buying fireworks and bringing them down here. I think, and I don't have any proof for this, but I'd be willing to bet there's an organized, concerted effort by these companies, again, that I'm calling out, that are being selfish and irresponsible, quite honestly, putting a lot of people in harm's way. As Commissioner Dempsey spoke about, we've already seen the damage of fireworks hitting houses. We have old housing stock in Boston, lots of 3 families, lots of duplexes, lots of 6 families. So there's concern there. I don't know if the commission wants to talk about that a little more.
Thank you, Mayor. There's definitely a lot of fireworks out there, but we're answering so many calls. Just this month alone, we started off with over 1,700 calls, then it went to over 1,400. And over a week and a half, we're down to 755 calls. But that just shows you the volume of fireworks there are out there, not only in Massachusetts, but across the nation. But we're talking about our house. That's why, in the words of Commissioner Dempsey and Chief Hooley, let's get it out of our mind that fireworks are harmless. They're very dangerous. A young man was eviscerated by fireworks just a week and a half ago. And parents, again, please take a look in your homes, in your basement, garages, because they're being stored somewhere. And the mayor is absolutely right. The people selling these fireworks could care less about it. It's just all about profit. When we're telling you stories about young children losing their fingers, come on. You should have some heart there, but it's all about profit. So guess what, folks? We have to look out for each other. The mayor has put together a task force, and thank God he did, because the onus is not solely on the police department. We have city councilors who have constituents, pass the word. We have law enforcement, pass the word. We have the fire department, pass the word. This is not harmless, folks. These fireworks are not harmless. They're very dangerous, again, a danger to your homes, a danger to your children, a danger to your community. And for God's sakes, it's Independence Day we're celebrating. Can we please give a break for those who have fought for this country over centuries that were triggering stress, post-traumatic stress due to fireworks? So again, soldiers, loved ones, seniors, pets, children, it's going to take all of us, not just the BPD, but we are out there. And before I leave, it does work when you call. Our large confiscations have been as a result of people calling us. And it is working, but we have a lot of work to do, folks, but we have to do this together. Sure.
Any special strategy for getting into the neighborhood with the virus to protect your officers? I know you changed some protocols, but this is a big weekend. You guys know what it is. But maybe you're doing differently this year?
I think everyone's doing something differently this year, and that's the wearing of masks and strictly adhering to the guidances set forth by the CDC. And of course, we're very cognizant that we come in contact with many, many individuals, so our officers are adequately supplied with personal protection equipment to use that from call to call. So masks, hand sanitizers, and We message every day about the importance of taking the responsibility and adhering to the guidances both on and off duty. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Any other questions? All right, hearing none, I just want to wish everyone a very happy 4th, safe and healthy 4th of July. Thank you.